All right, we're getting more horrific scenes of violence out of Democratic-led cities and a White House that refuses to deal with the reality. Here's an example. You have a 33-year-old woman who was heading to work at New York's JFK airport. She gets savagely beaten so badly by a homeless man that among her many ailments, she's not able to see out of her eye, and she might lose it. This 41-year-old Wahid Foster is facing felony assault charges, and you probably guessed by now his rap sheet is long. 7 priors, including assaulting another woman with a screwdriver, a conviction for murdering his 82-year-old foster grandmother in a brutal beating. How's this guy even out of prison when he was 14? He was out on probation when he committed this latest attack. Now, over in Philadelphia, we're getting disturbing surveillance footage of the murder of a Temple University grad. Police say the 23-year-old Everett Beauregard was the victim of an unprovoked murder when he was shot and killed while walking home. With all that in mind, listen to what the White House had to say about whether our cities are safe or not.
Does President Biden think America's big cities are safe?
Can you say more?
Well, we know that thefts and robberies are up about 20% in the first half of this year, so I'm wondering if he thinks America's big cities are safe.
So I'll say this. That same story also stated that the crime is complicated and multifaceted.
So I guess just the original question, does President Biden think America's big cities are safe?
It is not a yes or no question. It is very much a question of what has he done?
Fascinating response. Dana, have you ever said to yourself, I need to hear more from a question?
Well, maybe. I mean, then you get a little time to figure out like where you want to go.
But this
is the thing: is that it's news everywhere, so that answer should be automatic. And the answer from the White House is not matching the mood of the public. So you have to read the room. They are not reading the room because, okay, you could maybe make a case it's multifaceted in certain places, but people are seeing this every single day. And if you're in any sort of briefing at the White House on the political situation that they're in going into the midterms, you see that crime is right below inflation and economy, which you could combine as one of the major issues. And you add border to that, which people equate also with crime, then you have a serious law enforcement issue. I thought it was very interesting that Jen Psaki is now, she's out of the White House. She's a commentator on MSNBC. She's asked about it, and she said, yeah, crime's a big deal. It's going to hurt the Democrats.
Right.
And so if you don't have an answer for that, she could have turned around and said, what? The president just signed this bill. There are things that they could say. I'm not going to try to do their jobs for them. But I do think that the feeling in the country is unease and anxiety about crime. And that is the government's number one responsibility, is protect the public. And if people don't feel like that's happening, they will get responded to at the ballot box.
Jesse, what I'm fascinated by is they keep saying Republicans are making the most of this crime. Excuse me, they're not even making the most of the crime. We're seeing the video. I don't see any 30-second spot. I'm not seeing any highlights. I'm watching surveillance video, and Republicans are sitting there saying, don't blame us. And they're right. They never said to fund the police. They never said, let's have prosecutors go easy on criminals.
Yeah, it's impossible to ignore the crime wave. When you talk about climate change, okay, you can't really feel it. The crime, it's in your face. And this is how I would answer the question if I was Corinne Jean-Pierre from France. I would say this. For the most part, American cities are safe, and that's why you, Peter, and everybody in this room and millions of Americans across the country live in these cities, they work in these cities, they raise kids in these cities. And some of you go out late at night and party in these cities. But in certain neighborhoods in these cities, there is a surge in crime. And this is what we're doing about it, X, Y, and Z. That's it. Now, if I can do a better job of being a press secretary than she can, what is she doing up there? Because I'm not even a Democrat, and it's that easy. And when you see someone pummel a woman like a caveman.
And it's not the first time. We've been watching horrific things.
Shatter her eye socket at JFK. Where's AOC? Yep. Where's Kathy Hochul, the woman running for governor here? Where is NOW, the National Organization of Women? Where's the Me Too movement? I mean, a woman got groped and you'd see a press conference. This woman is getting her face busted up at JFK. You know, JFK, you can't fly into JFK without being vaxxed. But you can smash a woman's face in.
Right.
On the way out.
On the way out. And no one says, Sharpton hasn't said anything
Sharon,
about
what's
it.
Your
they
impression?
talk about right-wing violence, but you look at this on the television every day.
Sharon, what's your impression?
Okay, there's not enough police. We know that. We know that in major cities, when you call the police, it could take anything from 20 minutes to 5 hours.
Especially
to
New
come.
Orleans.
New Orleans, Washington, Chicago, Los Angeles. Today, my grandchildren went to school. And in the line before they dropped off, there was a homeless man there with a shirt off, hacking at his chest. There was blood going everywhere. The little kids were screaming. It took 20 minutes for the police to come. And I'm talking about from kindergarten to 8th grade. Right over the road from the school is a homeless encampment.
Wow.
Right
Beautiful.
over the road. And there's been 11 complaints. The police do nothing. There's not enough of them. There's too much crime for the police to deal with.
Judge, I want you to weigh in on whatever you want to say, obviously, but I just want to also keep this in mind. A lot of people are saying defund the police are victims. Think about the mayor, the one who's run for mayor over in Los Angeles. She had her house robbed and her gun taken. Then you have this state senator, Kimberly Lightford, and U.S. Rep. Mary Gay Scanlon, who came out to defund the police and reimagine policing. They were both carjacked within 90 minutes of each other. Bill Walton, 6'11", big redhead, who's all for defunding the police and for Black Lives Matter. Met him, he's a good guy, but he is now complaining to the mayor of San Diego, saying, I can't ride my bike without being chased down by homeless people who are trying to chase me down and steal the bike from a 6'11" Bill Walton. So what do you say about this?
Because people don't want to believe that crime will affect them. And they distance themselves by saying, it'll never happen to me. The victim must have done something wrong. And therefore, I'm fine and you can defund the police. And all of a sudden, when they become victims, they now understand that this is pervasive. Let me tell you something. She couldn't possibly answer the question, Karine Jean-Pierre, because to do so, and to do so honestly, would be to indict her boss and the whole administration. Murders are up 30% in the last 2 years in this country. And the bottom line is this nonsense. It's complicated and multifaceted. Crime is not complicated and multifaceted. Crime is simple and it's one-dimensional. You got a criminal and you got a victim. I don't give a darn what happened to the criminal in his life in the past. The only thing I care about is what he's doing today. And what they want to make it complicated so that we all feel stupid and say, gee, maybe we don't really know about it. But let me tell you what they're doing. They're denying the trauma that the victims are going through. They are not giving the victims a voice. And they are protecting the criminal by creating bail laws that allow them to go out, reoffend, embolden them, no consequences. And I'll go one better, because I've sat in these courtrooms, I've prosecuted cases. They create rules of evidence that make it impossible for us to know what the truth is. Evidence is being hidden all the time in criminal courtrooms. This woman is savagely beaten coming out of JFK. Are you kidding me?
You know what she did wrong? Nothing.
Nothing.
You know what should happen? This guy walked up to her and started coming on to her. He didn't want anything to do with it. Next thing you know, she gets beaten senseless.
And that happens all the time, right, Judge?
Yes, all the time. There's randomness. That's the most dangerous part of all of this. Everybody thinks, well, you know, it's domestic violence. He knew her, she knew that. They gave each other the eye. No, you're getting shot in the head from behind by someone you don't even know. You know, you're getting carjacked.
Sucker punched.
Yep, sucker punched. And you know what? The administration here in New York takes a sucker punch from an attempted murder with a guy with a busted brain bleed, fractured skull, and a fractured orbital bone from attempted murder to a misdemeanor.
Unbelievable.
But too, people follow you home now in Los Angeles, and they're not in crack cars. They're in great cars. So you look in your rearview mirror, you
So what's
think
the
there's
problem?
no problem, and then as soon as you get home, they rob and shoot you.
Sadly, Sharon, for anything to change, it's got to happen to rich people. And that's when people realize it's not
But
gang against gang. That's what is happening in Chicago now.
But it happens in Beverly Hills every day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.